Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I wanted to do a response to the video that was done by the elder apostle Tahar. This was, I believe it might have been yesterday, right, or one of his recent videos dealing with Isaiah 4:1 and the pretty much like the hard times that are about to set in. And he made a lot of good points in the lesson, right, dealing with the hardships that are really unfolding. However, people have been really so conditioned to just take things as they go. They don't look into anything. They sort of just, as things get worse, they get worse with it, right? So they don't realize how bad things actually are. And on top of that, they don't look into things, right? They don't know when they hear, oh, this is happening here or this is going on here. They don't know what that even means to begin to understand how that's going to affect them. So to them, as long as whatever they did yesterday, they can do today, then the world is moving on along and everything is fine. But as we're about to see very soon in the near future, when Jacob's trouble fully sets in, right, when the reality kicks in, all of that is going to go out the window. And there was a little glimpse of that during the demic when they shut everything down. And people didn't really have those common avenues, be it sports, clubs, parties, all of those things they couldn't do to take their mind off of things and to stay in that blissful, ignorant state. Then a lot of people started to become afraid, and now they're watching videos, doing videos. Everybody's all, trying to be humble and calm and holy and all of that. But what happened when things opened back up? They went right back to it, right? So I think in 2nd Ezra 16, it mentions that. Let me actually start off with that. It mentions that for all these things, they shall not turn from their wicked ways. And that's what it is, right? That's really the reason why this judgment is coming, is because of the wicked ways of these individuals, particularly Israelites. Let's pull this up. 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. And that that prophecy is going to be a very, very shocking, a shock to a lot of people's system. Because people today, especially in America, are like the furthest away from reality. They are quite literally the personification of out of touch with reality. Okay, everything is fabricated, it's artificial, it's drama, it's social media. They're always so involved in other people's lives and what's going on with this person and that person. They don't know how to handle real life situations. Things that, when you look at the struggles that people have today, the things they make a big fuss over, the things that they lose their minds over, they are trivial. They are things that, had you just applied a little bit of common sense, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of humility, you wouldn't even be in that situation. And yet they struggle with this. They're nowhere near prepared for reality. It's like if you met somebody in college and they're struggling with basic arithmetic. If you see somebody like that, you're like, well, one, I'm surprised you're in college, right? You made it this far. But two, you're pretty much not making it out of here, right? You're not getting out of college. This person's trying to go be a math research scientist. And you're like, bro, the things they do over there, the different levels of you don't even want to go in that realm. And yet you're struggling with basic arithmetic. So when you look at how people live their lives today and things they struggle with, you're like, how are you even gonna survive, when all hell breaks loose? This is 2nd Ezra 16, verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Famine, plague, tribulation, which is hard times, trouble, and anguish, which is a byproduct of trouble, are sent, right? The Most High sends these as scourges. When you get scourged, it's like getting beat. Now, when you were a kid, you know, and you did something bad and you got beat, you wouldn't just get beat unwarranted. You would do something that would trigger it, and it usually would be something bad. Nobody goes home, hey mom, I got 100 on my test today. Oh great. Then the dad pulls out the belt and starts whooping your ass. Nobody does that. Okay. You get your ass beat if you're doing something bad, and the point of that is, oh well, last time I did it, I got beat. It didn't feel good, so next time I'm not going to do that, or next time I'm going to do better so that I don't get my ass beat again. That is the amendment. You're amending your ways so you don't end up getting scourged again. So the way the Lord scourges us or the world is through things like famine and plague and tribulation and anguish. Once again, you don't go and do something that pleases the Lord, and then the scriptures will say, "Oh, the Lord was so pleased, He sent a durst, a terrible famine and plagues." No, right? He'll send blessings and so on. So these um, these um, these things that were just mentioned here, as it says, are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Lord sends these things so that you can be punished and repent and say, "Oh, you know what? Let's turn away from these evil deeds we're doing." However, verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. See? So not only are they going to continue in their wicked ways and not turn from it and say, I'm getting my ass beat, let me stop doing this thing. But as it says here, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So they're not even laying it to heart that, hey, we're going through this because of this bad behavior or this ungodly lifestyle that we're living. Like, that's how far out of touch with reality that people are today. And that's why when that time and double goes for women, okay? Because even in a time when the world was closer to being in tune with reality, they were still on the further end of the spectrum, right? You can even go back and take a look at Job's wife. You look at Job's wife and you're like, yo, at this time with what was going on over there, to make a statement like that, right? You sort of see the point there, right? So I have another precept here. But the point being, when this day of reckoning comes, when the time of Jacob's trouble fully unfolds, a lot of people are not going to know how to even fathom that, right? And that's because today, what's most people's lives made of? Like, the fact that you have a concept where you have social media, which has pretty much been overrun by women posting provocative and promiscuous pictures and videos of themselves. That's literally all. If you go on Instagram, that's pretty much all you're going to see. And then they promote that further with their algorithms. So that's not the only platform, but in fact, it got so that behavior got so prevalent, they created a separate platform called OnlyFans for things like that. So you have people that grow up, right? They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to take care of anything. They definitely don't know how to behave as a woman or a wife or a mother, but they're making a lot of money or they're making a living. And the way they're doing that is by exposing their body and twerking and posing in seductive ways. If you mean to tell me that's all you know how to do in this world that you've been born into, and you think you're going to survive Jacob's trouble, and then to throw the cherry on top, you're proud and arrogant about it because people think that is success. Oh, she was able to buy this nice car because she got so many followers on this platform. That's not success. That's just a platform paying you because you're making them more successful and more known because you're attracting more people to their platform. That really doesn't say much to the goodness of you. It just says that you're willing to hold yourself out or expose yourself to everybody. Now, what value are you actually going to bring in the time of Jacob's trouble? Because the one thing that really those platforms satisfy is lust. That's it. And lust is a ephemeral, fading feeling. It goes and it comes. Okay, no pun intended. But somebody lusts after you, right? They look at your videos or whatever the case is. In their mind, they're like, yo, they wanna get a hold of her. Okay, what happens when they actually do? Do you think now they're thinking, okay, so all right, they call it post nut clarity. After post nut clarity hits, the dude is not there, especially if you're in a time of Jacob's trouble. He's not there thinking, she can bring me a whole lot of value. You know what I mean? Like, she's resourceful. She knows how to, she knows the herbs. Should anything come, somebody gets injured, she knows how to like treat wounds, and she knows these things. You don't know any of that. So even if somebody in that time was to take you along with them, having to risk their life to protect you, having to, if it's hunting or gathering, whatever it is, they got to do double of that so that you can be fed. Whatever they find, whatever resources it is, they either have to divide it or they have to find extra and work harder to make sure an extra mouth, is being preserved, fed, and taken care of. Not to mention your complaining and nagging and fear and all of those things, right? So they got to do all of that. And then they run into situations and they start to think, I'm hurt. I got to heal myself because you can't do it. And then on top of that, I got to protect you while I'm injured. I'm hungry. I got the resources. I got the goods. We found an abandoned house somewhere and everything works. And you can't even make food. I'm tired. I'm like, all you had to do is just sit there and watch the door while I take like a 2-hour nap because I've been up for 3 days straight protecting your ass. And you fell asleep. And now we've been freaking, kidnapped by some gang. An individual starts to think, what use really is this person? Now they're more of a nuisance than they are of valuable. Like I said, you're not going to be in heat 24 hours in a day. So and in a time like Jacob's trouble, when necessity prevails, right? And here's an example of what I mean. When you are in trouble, you're not thinking about satisfying the flesh in a lustful way. You're not thinking of busting a nut when you're in trouble. Okay, when your heart is beating, if you got news that your loved one is in an emergency room, you're not getting in heat, right? If you found out that you owe this amount, IRS hits you, you owe $7,000. You're not feeling in heat. These are things that make you lose your appetite. You get, you feel down. When you're afraid, you're not feeling in heat. So in the time of Jacob's trouble, where a lot of these feelings, as it says in 2 Ezra 13, Isaiah 13, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. A lot of these feelings are going to be the norm. And in that time, you're not really feeling in heat 24/7. Your mindset is first and foremost survival. Okay? And so going back to my example there, this individual is like, I went and chased and got this chick. And for one main purpose, I got that purpose, and she can't do anything else. Why should I have her around? And then you start to realize, you know what? A lot of dudes don't really want you. In their mind, they're like, well, I'll just, take you and leave you and then call it a day. Go do something else. Try to survive. Right? Or even if they keep you, it's not going to be to treat you right. So that's the kind of reality that comes with chaos, that comes with anarchy, right? And that's what the point the apostle was making, because anarchy or chaos, there are just certain things that come along with it. Assault, sexual assault, death, murder, theft, all of these things are just like byproducts of chaos and anarchy. So don't expect anything less when all hell breaks loose. Now, this is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. And if men are going to be lovers of their own selves, that goes double for women. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And the main points in here, which it doesn't, just because the Apostle Paul mentioned men doesn't mean this is literally only talking about men. He says men as in like people. And that's what we see today. And as it says, lovers of their own selves. People are stuck up today, especially those that have a big following, because of that big following. It gives them a big head. They start doing stupid things. They start thinking they're invincible just because People pick up their smartphones or tablets, and then they see your page online, and then they double click on it. So let me get this straight. If you really think about this, right? Your importance is in value is based on a million people took their phones, saw your video or your picture, and then they double tapped on it. They literally say, "Oh, this looks nice," double tap. And all of a sudden that made you the most important person on the planet Earth. Now, if it actually comes to what your real value is, like what are you actually useful for? Like, what is that? You need to think in a practical sense. If you need somebody to fight or defend, or somebody who's strong or, mentally strong first and foremost, and this person is not that, then you're like, yo, you can have 10 million followers. What use are you? And that's what you're going to start to see. Like, all hell breaks loose. You run into somebody that's like a so-called celebrity, and that starstruckness is out the window because you see them as they're another person. Maybe the first time you meet them, you're like, oh, shoot, that's such and such. Oh, wow, yo, I've been a big fan and yada, yada. And then, because of that, you may have some resources and you take them along, and then they start stealing things, or they keep complaining, or they're just a coward. And they're ready to like stab you in the back just to survive. Your perception of this celebrity changes very quickly. And you start to be like, damn, this person is an a-hole. Why the hell did I even like or look up to this person? This person as a person, they are terrible. As a musician or an actor, they were cool because they played their role. But as an actual person, this guy ain't shit. And that's going to be a part of the reality that sets in. And it's going to be far worse for those people on the other end of the spectrum, because it's going to be like all that power is stripped away from under you, and now you're just bare. So going back to the verse here, as it says, men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud. Right. And that's another key part to highlight, that pride. The Most High hates pride because you have nothing to be proud about. So once again, when that reality sets in, all that is going to go out the window. You meet somebody, they look at you face to face. You mad short, you mad small, but you got this loud ass energy as though you can do something. And then you start talking smack, and then you slap them in the face, and they look at you unfazed. And then they slap you back. Some big ass bro, what's this guy's name? Damn, I forgot this guy's name. Dude is on a hot seat right now over some Edomite looking chick. Damn, it's Shannon Sharp. Yeah, some Shannon Sharp, big dude looking dude. Come and see your ass in public talking about I might choke you in public too. Oh shit. You see a dude like that tell you I might choke you. Yeah, what you gonna do then? And you slap the dude and he's unfazed. And he grabs you by the neck. That's when you're gonna realize, oh shit, I need protection. Like I need somebody to step in here, because what the hell were you thinking in the first place? And that's the thing. They weren't thinking. They don't think. A lot of people don't think today. They don't. They just move on impulse and they get messed up. So as it says, you're unholy, and that's going to be another pitfall for a lot of people, because the salvation, the deliverance, the protection, that's going to come from the Most High. He's not bringing that to unholy people, to people living ungodly lifestyles. Let's see here. Verse 2 Timothy 3 and 3, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, right, not having self-control, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Now here's the main point. Verse 4, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. And that is what's going to get a lot of people messed up, because these social media platforms, this Black Mirror you have in your pocket every day, and these apps that you use, these TikToks, Instagram, X, YouTube Shorts, all of these things, if you notice, they have a lot of things in common, right? And it's not just you're watching or reading things. You can upload the things. You can get reactions based off of what you've put out there. That feeds on a certain part of people's minds. And when a lot of people start to speak highly of something, you start to think, hey, maybe there's some benefit of this. If that wasn't the case, the point of reviews would be obsolete. Why do you look at reviews before you buy something? Because you want to hear if other people thought it was good. That's pretty much what it is. If something has 5 stars versus 1 star, why are you more likely to go with the thing with 5 stars? And what does 5 stars mean? 5 stars means there were a lot of people who have opinions about this thing, this product, and they think it's good. So they say, we're going to give it a 5. And so because you see that other people have given it a 5 and other people think it's good, you think maybe it might be good too. So I would rather go with that. And that goes back to the whole concept that, when a lot of people think something is good, you start to feel that that thing is also good. And it sometimes can be deceptive. There are artists out there that, quite frankly, are terrible. Their music completely sucks. It's not. There's no rhythm. There's no beat. It doesn't even sound good. But they have a big following. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, this guy's this. Oh, damn, yo, his should go hard. And before you know it, you're now thinking, hey, you know what? This guy's not so bad. But it's not because his music is actually good. It's just because a lot of people are saying it's good. And there's a difference there. Okay? The Vanessa. A lot of people were going with that. Oh yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. It wasn't because it was fun or it was good. It's because a lot of people just got behind it. That's the only thing that it is. And there's a difference there. Just because people say something that tastes bitter is sweet does not make it actually sweet. But the point that I'm making is, so these platforms allow you to put content of yourself out there. And when you have a lot of people, once again, that start to like that content and sort of approve it and say, hey, this is good, then that effect still applies here, where you now start to see yourself as very good. Similar to how you would see that car as very good because it has a lot of good reviews. Well, guess what? If you were that car, you would see yourself as very good. And that is what starts to inflate the ego and starts to inflate the pride. Right? When you compare a 5-star item to a 1-star item, you think the 5-star item is much better than the 1-star item. Well, if you are now the 5-star item, you think you're much better than everybody else. And then you become proud, and then you become a lover of yourself. Right? You think that you're in a whole different ball game, a whole different category all by yourself. And it's by many things, whether it's music, whether it's sports, or in this case, in this degenerate society, whether it's OnlyFans or Instagram, which, like I said, is literally just about a bunch of women shaking their ass or wearing crazy ass clothing, trying to be the next, attractive figure. They're doing the same thing. It's just literally the same thing, whether it's a gym girl post or, just some thirst trap or whatever the case is. What value really is there in that? So going back to 2 Timothy 3:3 or 3:4, as it says, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Those pleasures, which one example is you getting attention. Attention can be a pleasurable thing. You want to find out, go and get a woman. You'll find out just how pleasurable attention is that you didn't even realize, because that's exactly what they're going to seek from you all the time. Okay. And so by being lovers of pleasures more than of God, and that's really a byproduct of this system. Esau sets up a system to where, people are constantly chasing that next high. They're chasing that dopamine rush. They're chasing that pleasure, what feels good and not what is good. What feels to them is right, but not what actually is right. And they depart from the Most High. So when that judgment comes and the day of reckoning comes, they're going to realize you don't have power. You need protection. You need somebody to take care of you. And now, and that's why it says to take away our shame and our reproach, because in that time, how do you pitch your case? What's the difference? You're no longer untouchable. So what makes you special? Now the tables have flipped. And a lot of people ain't gonna make it. They're not. Because they're naive. They're not able to discern. they can easily fall prey to somebody that's just a little bit, throw a little bit of acting on, can be a bit deceptive. Here it is. I'll give you one scenario and then I'll close it out. I believe I've made the point. But you have a case where a woman is traveling with a man. It's a dangerous world out there. All hell is breaking loose. They're low on food and they're in a very secure area. The man says, you know what, I'm going to, step out for a bit, try to get something. Do not open the door for anybody else for whatever reason. Do not open the door. Do you understand? Oh, yes, I understand. No, I won't do it. I won't do it. Okay. He says, I have a special knock. Until you hear that knock, if you don't hear that specific knock that many times in that succession, you don't open the door. Yes. He leaves. 30 minutes go by. An hour goes by. She starts getting worried. Then somebody comes to the door. And this person might try to sway her. This person might, please. Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's in the car. She's bleeding. I just need, please, just some water or first aid kit. Like, you don't even need to come outside. Just like open the door a little bit and just slip it through, please. Ain't no 2-year-old kid anywhere. And they start just a little bit acting. They might even have a tape recorder with the voice of a child, but you're behind the door. You wouldn't know. So you hear this child crying, please, it hurts. And then she's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? He told me not to open the door, but the child is dying. And then boom, she opens the door and the dude is standing. There's like 3 dudes with a bat. One is with a gun. One is with a freaking chainsaw in his hand. He's like, open up, we coming through. Now you cooked. And all you had to do was just one thing. All you had to do was not open the door. See, so that example is to say, like, in that time, that naivety is going to get a lot of people killed and taken advantage of. In that time, people are not going to be honest. They're not going to be looking for your best interest. They'll do whatever it takes to get whatever they want. And women they easily fall prey to that. Okay, that's why you hear these stories over and over again. Oh, I thought he was a nice guy. He was a good guy. And he turned out to be a scumbag or a piece of ish. And that's why you often have clashes between like a sister and her brother or a sister and her daughter and her father over a guy that she likes, but they don't approve of him because they can see through him, but then she can't. Then she goes and gets her heart broken and now it's the end of the world. Anyway, the moral of the lesson is with all this chaos coming, you really as a man or men and women both have to humble down and seek the Lord. That's going to be your only way out. And a lot of people look at that as like corny or like, what's that going to do for me? And you'll find out very soon, but that goes double, triple, quadruple for women. And that's going to lead to that time of Isaiah 4:1 of having nowhere to go and seeking help and constantly seeing death and all around you and being afraid. They're going to seek with this, like your life depends on it kind of energy, a man that can protect them. Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Udash. Until next time, Shalom.